Hello, my name's Sarita and I'm speaking to you today from SolHenge, and I'm here to help you understand the truth about who you are. Now, one of the truths about who you are is that your life is running in patterns, and these patterns exist all of the time, everywhere. And we have patterns that we see in our daily lives, moment by moment. We have patterns that happen, every few days or every few weeks, and we have bigger patterns that run. We might have a pattern that runs every 2 years, or a pattern that comes up every 10 years. And patterns are a fantastic way to understand how things in your manifested reality are working for you. And these patterns even have a name. They're called fractal patterns. And I'm not going to massively go into the physics of fractal patterns because it's just too complicated for me to even grasp. But basically, it's a type of sacred geometry, which is a mathematical way of measuring how things in the universe are acting out. And they kind of look like spirals, basically, a fractal pattern. And what happens is every time you have an experience which has an emotional charge to it, you can create the seed for a new pattern. Now, obviously, if you are experiencing patterns that are wonderful, so let's say every 2 years you get a windfall of money, you don't want to change those patterns. Those patterns are fantastic. But if you have a pattern in your life which is causing you pain, those are the patterns that you need to look at and heal. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a meditation process or a technique, whichever way you want to look at it, which is going to allow you to heal a fractal pattern in your life that has been to your detriment. And I did this meditation with my class a couple of weeks ago, and it was amazing. And all of my students have noticed changes already. So it was quite an intense meditation. They really did notice things changing. And so basically, patterns are incredible things. And we all know about the patterns that I'm talking about. They're the ones that show up in your life and you just go, why does this keep happening to me? And the reason it keeps happening to you is because you will have created a seed for that pattern somewhere in your past, and it's just going round and round and round, and will continue to do so until you heal it. So I'm going to give you an example of some patterns, in people's lives. So let's say, for example, you might have an emotional pattern. And the pattern might be every time someone criticizes you, even a tiny bit, you have a complete meltdown, you're totally hurt, and, you go off and cry. So let's say that's one pattern. Now, that seed pattern may have happened, when you were tiny because, your parents were critical or something like that. We don't know. We often don't know how our seed patterns started. And for this process, it doesn't really matter because we're just going to heal them. So that's one type of pattern. Or let's say you're in a relationship with somebody and you always argue about money, but you're fine about everything else. So that could be a pattern that keeps resurfacing. And these patterns are amazing because they just indicate us, hello, I need healing. That's what a pattern is. It's a really great way to heal something because you come into an awareness that it keeps recreating itself. And people are always ready to heal when they just can't stand the pattern anymore. But you don't need to wait until you're on your knees to heal a fractal pattern, because I'm going to show you how to heal any fractal pattern, even if it's not to your real detriment now, so that it becomes something wonderful and it never builds up into something awful that you have to keep repeating. Right, I'm going to give you an example of like a major fractal pattern. Let's say every time you fall in love, it's absolutely amazing for a year, and then it becomes an abusive relationship and it's all a massive drama, and you're heartbroken. And then the next person you meet 2 years later, it looks all really amazing for a year, then it becomes an abusive relationship and you get really heartbroken. And that happens to you. That's a 2-year pattern. Or in my case, I saw a pattern that was coming up for me recently, and it was a huge one, and I healed it. And this was a pattern of total loss, because what happened to me when I was 28 is basically I lost everything I owned. I literally had to start again, and I had me and my husband, we lost everything we owned. We lost the country that we were living in, all of our possessions, our business, everything. And it was it was a choice, because everything is a choice, but nevertheless, we lost everything. And we had to start all over again, which was, you know, huge. And I don't really want to experience that ever again. Thank you very much. And what happened was, recently, I started to see, I became aware that this pattern was arriving, because I saw things happening in my manifested reality that were reminding me of the thing that had happened before. And because I'm, you know, quite self-aware these days, I noticed it. And because I know about fractal patterns, I decided to heal it, which is why I'm offering this healing process to you, because it worked for me and it's working for my students. So now I'm giving it to you. So basically what happened was, I noticed this pattern coming up again, and I was like, whoa, I need to heal this. I'm not in a place where I deserve to lose everything I own ever again. And it was a real chance for me to heal my issues around loss. And that's because, like all of you, I've suffered loss in my life, you know, and they manifested as seed fractal patterns, and they infiltrated into different parts of my life. And then that's what you do. You emit the signal and it comes back into your manifested reality. So I use this process and I healed it. I healed it with forgiveness, love, wisdom, all of those good things. And so what I'm going to do with you now at the end of this speech is I'm going to explain to you how the process is going to work. And then obviously I'm going to take you through the process. Now, this is the process. First of all, you need to pick the pattern that you want to heal. And it can be anything. As I said, it could be emotional pattern, a pattern of you reacting to things, a big pattern, you know, a money pattern, a relationship pattern, job pattern, whatever you want to do. So you choose the pattern that you need to heal. And then what I'm going to do is, obviously I'm going to make you relax and everything. And then I'm going to let you fill up your head with the pattern. Now, the way that I see the pattern when I'm healing something is I literally see it as a spiral that has different colors. So you may see it as a spiral. It might have a label on or something like that. And a few of my students saw spirals. Some of my students saw symbols. You might see an image, or you might see like a film strip of the pattern happening. And what you're going to do is you're going to allow that pattern to fill your head up. And you're going to allow yourself, knowing that you're in a safe space, to really feel what that pattern has done to you in your life. So you're really going to feel it intrinsically, embody the feelings, allow yourself to really go there and feel it, okay? Now, once you're feeling that pattern, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to drop the pattern down your body and allow it to land in your heart center. So you're literally going to see that pattern, however it manifests for you, dropping and landing in your heart center. And then you're going to feel what it feels like when it's in your heart center. Because when we drop into our heart center, we work without the filters of ego. So the energetic frequencies of fear leave, you know, fear and pain and all of those things leave. And we can just see the pattern for what it is much more clearly because it's in our heart center. And then what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that the heart center is like a lung. So imagine it's like a big bag or a lung. And what you're going to do is you're going to start doing what I would call a sacred breath. And you're going to begin to breathe into your heart center. And the in-breath is going to fill up that lung, which the pattern is inside of. So the lung, which is your heart center. And as you breathe in, you're going to begin to breathe in compassion for the pattern. And it's compassion for the pattern, for all of the people involved in the pattern, for yourself, what you went through with the pattern, just compassion. And basically the frequency, even of the word compassion, is going to affect change for the pattern. So what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in compassion, and the breath and compassion are going to become one, and they're going to encapsulate the pattern. And as you do this, that compassion is going to affect change within the pattern. Now, during the meditation, you may see the change. So you may see the pattern changing, or you may not. You might just feel it. But what you will do is you will feel the pattern changing afterwards, let me tell you. So it doesn't matter so much what happens in the meditation, so long as you're focused on encompassing the pattern with compassion. So after we've done that breath for a few moments, we're going to let that flow away, and we're going to start doing a new breath. And now we're going to breathe in wisdom. And it's wisdom, the energetic frequency of wisdom, of what you understand about this pattern, because of course, if it's a pattern, you've done it before. So you're bringing all of your wisdom from your previous experience with this pattern into the breath, and you're going to encapsulate and breathe wisdom around the whole fractal pattern. And as you do that, it is going to be affecting change of that pattern within you. So we're going to do that for a few moments, and I'm going to allow you to feel what that pattern feels like now. And then I'm going to gently bring you back to reality, but having left the pattern within your heart, encompassed and encapsulated within compassion and wisdom. And then you're going to go about your daily life, and you are going to notice what is going on now, because as we know, everything you think and feel affects change within your manifested environment. So your intention to breathe compassion and wisdom to the fractal pattern is going to change it. That's it. You're using focused intent. You're manifesting change. And so now all you need to do is be aware of the changes that are happening around you. And if you feel that pattern coming up again, then all you need to do is you need to take a couple of moments, and see the pattern in your heart and breathe compassion and wisdom into it. And it will transmute into something that is healed. And you will have learnt whatever you need to learn from the pattern. You will have had that, that real wisdom coming to you, and you will be healed of that pattern. And then you'll make space for the next one to come in, because that's how life works. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do. So if you're ready, then we're going to begin. So I encourage you, as always, to sit up during this meditation. But if you're constrained by injury, then obviously lie down. And when you're ready, I want you to take a breath in and out and let go of this conversation and your day, and just begin to follow your breath. And allowing every breath to bring you centered into your body. And now you are going to set your intention to heal a pattern in your life that is no longer serving you. And now, can you begin to create a symbol or an image within your head that represents this pattern? So just allowing whatever comes to begin to fill your head. And now you are going to begin to expand this pattern within your head, allowing it to become larger and larger until it fills up all of the energy within your head, all of the space within your whole head in space. And now you are going to allow this pattern to affect you, giving yourself permission to feel it all. Feel all the pain and all the fear and all the confusion that this pattern has created for you in your life. Allowing all of those emotions to fill you up, seeing and feeling how this pattern has affected your life, your purpose, your relationships, your self-worth, allowing the intensity of this pattern and all of the associated feelings within it to affect you on every level of your being. How has this pattern made you feel? How has this pattern affected the way you speak, the way you move, the way you commune with others, and the way you think and feel about yourself? Giving yourself permission to feel the full weight and pain of this pattern. Feeling yourself so full of it that it was as if your head could burst from it. Feeling it all of the intensity of it. And now it is time to change this pattern. So can you drop this pattern down your body until it lands within the sacred center of your heart? So can you feel this pattern dropping, dropping, dropping down your body until it lands in the center of your chest, in the center of your heart. And now feel what this pattern feels like as it fills your heart center. Holding this pattern within your heart. And now it is time to breathe compassion into your heart center. So begin by breathing into the heart and expanding this center with your breath as if it were a lung. Breathing in and expanding this center. Breathing out, contracting. Breathing in, expanding like a lung and filling it with your breath. Breathing out, contracting. And as you breathe in now, begin to fill your heart center with the breath of compassion. Breathing in compassion expanding and filling your heart center with this new frequency. Breathing in compassion and feeling this breath surrounding and filling and merging with your fractal pattern. Breathing in the breath of compassion, allowing this breath to change the pattern and fill it with a new frequency, the breath of compassion. Feeling compassion affecting change in the pattern, permeating your being and everything and every circumstance and everyone affected by this pattern. The breath of compassion, filling your heart, using the sacred tool of your breath with compassion, allowing the frequency of compassion to change the pattern. And now gently letting that breath melt away. And now beginning to breathe into your heart center with a new breath, the breath of wisdom. Breathing in wisdom into your heart center, expanding this center and surrounding and permeating your fractal pattern with the breath of wisdom. Breathing in wisdom, feeling your sacred center, filling with the understanding of wisdom. Wisdom in your heart. Wisdom for the learning tool of this fractal pattern. Wisdom from all the circumstances and people affected by this pattern. And wisdom for yourself. The knowing, the understanding, the evolution of what this pattern has brought you. Breathing in the breath of wisdom, and feeling this wisdom affecting and changing the pattern. Allowing wisdom to flow into you and through you. The frequency of wisdom. And now allowing that breath to melt away. And now, can you see the fractal pattern at your heart center, encapsulated and surrounded with the frequencies of compassion and wisdom, and seeing this pattern shifting and changing and healing in this moment in response to the breath of compassion and the breath of wisdom that you gave to it. Seeing your pattern shifting and healing within your heart. And just noticing the difference of how this pattern already feels within you. And just knowing as you gently come back into the room and open your eyes, that this pattern sitting in your heart will continue to heal and change, encapsulated within the frequencies of wisdom and compassion that you have created. So just allowing it to heal in its own time, knowing that the work is done. And so when you're ready, gently coming back into the room and opening your eyes.